So for those of you all who are new to our channel, we are the Sammy, Nicole, and Fifi show here on YouTube. And we are a dynamic, the only dynamic mother-daughter duo. And we talk about all things love, life, relationships, and pop culture from both the millennial perspective. Myself, Sammy Nicole, and my beautiful mother, Fifi. And yes, y'all, we are coming to y'all live and direct. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe, or like and subscribe, however you want to say it, to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much to everybody who is new to our channel. We call our subscribers our dynamic family, so we appreciate you all. Fifi, yes, Fifi is my mother. Sometimes I call her mom, mommy, ma, but yes, Fifi is my mother, so that we are clear. Fifi, are you in the camera, girl? All right.
Yeah, some people were saying, why she calls me Fifi. She calls me mama, mom, especially when she want to know something. Mom.
Like Shalon.
Exactly. I am definitely her mother, y'all.
Just like Shalon Jackson.
Right, so it is okay. And that's why I tell you all to go back and look at some of our old videos, because we talk about the dynamics of our relationship. And I think we do that in some of our Mother Day videos. Every Mother Day we do a Mother Day video, just to share our relationships. We talk about our relationships. We talk about the relationships that I have with my mom, and how Samantha feels about me. So yes, y'all, she's definitely my daughter, and she calls me mom. Somebody made that comment that they were confused as to why she called me Fifi, but Samantha is very respectful. She was a joy to raise, and I often tell people all the time, if I had to raise her all over again, I would. Now, would I say that we didn't have any bumpy roads? Because at certain ages there was some bumpy roads. I would say 12, 16, and 18, but we worked it out, and here we go.
Here we are. Giving hope. Hey, TBD. She said, hey, y'all. Happy to be here. Hey, happy to have you. Happy to have you.
Hey, y'all.
So as you're coming into the room, please like this video. Please like. Hey, the Saw Diva. Hey. Please like this video, okay?
I'm so glad y'all here. I'll be so excited to come talk to
y'all.
Hey.
Welcome. Just giving people time to come on into the live. And just so you guys know, we are working on setting up StreamYard, so we'll be able to, hopefully in the near future, we'll be bringing people on our lives to chat with us. So that is in the very near future, just putting that out there, because I know some people expressed interest and wanted to jump on the live with us and chat. So that is something that we are going to be working on, so stay tuned for that.
And also, if you all could follow us on Instagram, and on
Sammy Nicole and Fifi show on Instagram
and Facebook,
and it's in our description box too, so we'll make sure to add that,
because sometimes we add some things over there. We may do some outings, or we may add some videos or something like that, and then you all can keep up too as far as when we'll go live and what we'll be talking about. So if you all could follow us over there, that would be great as well.
Yes. All right. So what's some other housekeeping stuff we gotta say?
Thank you to all our new subscribers.
Yes. Welcome to the dynamic family.
We appreciate you all. We would not be here if it wasn't for you all. You all could go right past our channel and go watch somebody else. We greatly appreciate it. We do not take you all for granted. We are grateful, and we appreciate you all coming by, stopping by, and talking to us. So thank you so much.
Yes, and everything we say is allegedly. Everything we say is allegedly. All right. So now that we got that out the way, all of the pleasantries, y'all, okay, we got to talk about Monique, Daddy/Uncle, and Shalon Jackson, y'all.
Who is it? Daddy/Uncle?
Daddy/Uncle, because Sydney is Monique's husband, all right? Sydney slash daddy slash uncle would not allow Shalon to call him daddy, which in the recent live that Daddy and Monique did, he basically intimated that that was one of the many reasons that Shalon felt some type of way towards him and Monique, is because he wouldn't allow him to call him daddy because he has a close relationship with his biological father, and he always knew Shalon always knew Sydney as his uncle. Monique said Sydney knew you before you even knew him. He was your uncle. So that's why Sydney said, you can't call me daddy like everybody else in the house. You got to call me uncle. Hey, Cass, welcome. We were just telling everybody that we're working on setting up our StreamYard account so that we can start bringing people on while during our lives to chat with us. So that's something that we're going to have in the near future. So we're working on that. So yes, hey, Cass, welcome, everybody. So yes, okay, let me just say, with that being said, it's just disheartening all around.
It is.
Looking at where Sydney, in all seriousness, I'm gonna call him by the man by his actual name, Sydney, Monique, and Shalon, the nature of their relationship is so sad. It really is. And with the most recent live that Sydney and Monique did, aka Daddy slash Uncle did, they spent time. The live was what, 40 minutes long, y'all? They spent more time going in and calling out Judge Greg Mathis, Stephen A. Smith, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart.
Yes.
Then they did addressing Shalon.
Yes.
And that was just like, they're so detached from that young man. It's like he's like low-hanging fruit on their hit list. Allegedly.
That's a good way to put it.
It's like, okay, here's our hit list. Here's who we need to check, who we need to go up against, who we need to defend ourselves and speak the truth against. And he's at the very bottom of their list. They gave that little boy all of 10, 15 minutes. 10 minutes. 15 minutes is too generous.
And Sydney did most of the talking.
And Sydney did all of the doggone talking.
Mm-hmm. Monique did no talking.
They are completely disassociated from that young man. And another thing that trips me out is, if you're familiar with Monique's story, okay, let me say this. Fifi and I went to the live taping of Monique's Netflix special. We live in Atlanta. And the Netflix special was held at the recital hall at my alma mater, Georgia State University Rialto Center. This was October of 2023. So we were in the live audience there.
They actually put the camera on me, y'all.
If y'all go back and watch Monique's latest Netflix special, you'll see myself and Fifi in the audience. But the more so, the camera is panning on Fifi. So how it worked, just to give y'all some background, when we went to her Netflix special, it was packed. There were a lot of people there. We saw
it was okay.
What's the guy's name? Pinky from Friday. Clifton Powell was there. Lee Daniels was there. T.S. Madison was there.
It was a lot of celebrities there.
And then there were like additional like local Atlanta socialites that were there. It was back in October of 2023. No, October of 2022. Sorry. The Netflix special filmed in October of 2022 in downtown Atlanta at the Rialto Center. So, people were there. People were excited. Netflix, right before the show started, Netflix had their camera crew going around people in the auditorium while we were waiting to go, in the lobby outside of the auditorium, while we were waiting for the show to start. And T.S. Madison is short. I thought she was tall too, TBD. T.S. Madison is short.
She's short.
She's short and thick and curvy.
She's short.
But she's nice looking, but she's short. She's short and thick, excuse me. Yes. And so basically, Netflix, like I said, they were going around the lobby. of the Rialto Center, like interviewing people, and people were talking about, you know, how excited they were for Monique's special. They were happy to see her back. They were glad she finally got a special. Okay, cool. So we go into the auditorium, right? And y'all, me and Fifi were ignorant to this. We didn't know this, but how it works with Netflix.
This was our first one that we went to live.
First live Netflix taping. But how it works is the producers will come out before the actual comedians do their set, and they'll say, okay, we're going to pre-tape you guys laughing. We're going to pre-tape you all doing a standing ovation. So basically what they had us do is they had us do like act like we had heard something hilarious. And so we had to do it at least like 5 to 10 times because they felt like the energy wasn't good enough. So we would be like, oh,
fake laughing.
Fake laughing, basically. Because what they do is they pre-record a laugh track. And I'm sure they do this for a lot of shows. I'm sure this is nothing new, obviously. So I'm just saying to say that. And then they also had us pre-record us doing a standing ovation where we stand up and we clap and we're like, woo! So when you saw people like standing up and giving a standing ovation, or people like laughing hysterically, a lot of that was like pre-recorded.
Yes. They inserted.
Yeah, they inserted throughout the special, which I didn't know that. So
all that laughing, if you all seen the special, it was pre-recorded.
Right. Cass S said, LOL, they should have paid y'all as extra. They should have. They should
we worked that hard. Yes.
They should have, but we paid to be there.
Yes.
We paid to be there.
Yes.
Because, you know, we wanted to support Monique. We were excited. We were like, oh, Monique is coming back. Like, this black woman is doing her thing. Like, I love the Parkers. Like, the Parkers is hilarious. Like, I still be singing that song from what was the name of Kim Parker's group? It was like Trinity something with T and Stevie, and they had that song, Mama Killed Him, Mama Killed Him. Like, I used to love the Parkers, and like how Nikki would be like all over Professor Ogilvy, who still looks good to this day. Shout out Sam, he looks good. But I love that show. We loved the Parkers. It was a great show. Nikki, you know, she was really funny.
Y'all got your drinks?
Yes, y'all get your drinks and your snacks. I'm gonna give you the behind the scenes tea. Yes, CLB. Yes. But no, we did not get paid. We paid to be there, which was fine because we wanted to support her. We were excited.
We were really excited. And it was like the big thing, you know. Oh, Monique in Atlanta. Oh, everybody was there, y'all.
Even though she lived in Gwinnett, but it was just exciting to see the tape and being here in Atlanta.
It was. It really was. And they took your phones. You couldn't bring your phones in.
I took mine. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
I left mine in the car. She took hers, okay? But you couldn't bring your phones.
Or maybe I left mine in the car too.
I think you left yours in the car
I think I did too. Okay, go ahead.
They took your phones, and like she said, you know, they prepped us. They pretty much prepped us. And then there was a heckler in the audience. And when I tell you he was showing out, they had Atlanta Police Department come in and escort him out before she got on stage.
Yeah, there was a heckler that was in the audience, but this was before her opening act, Corey B. Corey B is a female comedian out of Chicago, and she's really funny.
She was funny.
She came on. She was Monique's opener. She was really funny, but this was even before Corey B came out. It was just some guy. I don't know if he was high or drunk, y'all, but he was showing his natural black earth. Okay, and the police had to come to escort him out. Just to let y'all know, police was not playing. Okay.
So when DL said that her Netflix special was not funny and she got bad reviews, y'all, it wasn't all that.
It wasn't funny.
We were there.
Yeah.
So we agree with DL on that. DL was right about that when he came out and said that a couple of weeks.
We were there in live and living color. We got the receipts to prove it. We were there in the audience, and we weren't up in the nosebleeds either. You know, we had pretty good tickets, but you know, it wasn't funny.
At all.
But it was good to support another woman, especially another black woman, especially at that time, October 2022. We were familiar with her story and what she had gone through. So it was like, okay, we're gonna support you. Like, yes, we know people going in at you, but this is your comeback. You fought really hard to get this Netflix special. So we're gonna show out for you, sis. You know, even though we thought it was weird that we had to like pre-record us laughing hysterically or pre-record
For
us.
such a seasoned comedian.
Oh, baby, you said a word right now. Say that again.
Seasoned comedian.
Okay.
Monique.
Okay, you said that, not me. But anyway, even though we thought that was kind of odd, but we know that happens. That's kind of like standard in the entertainment business. I'm assuming. So I know that's probably not the first time that's been done. They probably do it for everybody, you know. But we just thought that was kind of odd.
But you know what? What I noticed about that special is,
and it was an all black production crew, or predominantly black, which was awesome.
Yeah, it was, because
supporting black people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was awesome too. So we were happy to support. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
What I noticed about that special is Monique kind of gave us the dynamics, or kind of gave us an insight on her and Daddy's relationship. Mm-hmm. How she talked about, what he likes and what she likes and what they do and how it started and how he guided her. It's like in that Netflix special, she kind of gave us a little insight. And then if you saw the Shay special, it kind of went together, y'all. So her Netflix special gave us the first part of their relationship, and then the Shay special gave us the second part, and more it all context. More context. It all came together at how the dynamic of their relationship. But go on and finish, because we're gonna talk about the son.
Right. So again, even though it wasn't funny, she looked amazing. Oh, like Monique looked absolutely beautiful. She always looks good. She's a beautiful woman.
Her stylist, they style her right for her size.
Whoever is styling Monique, like hair, makeup, clothes, chef's kiss, because you're doing your big one. Yeah, you really are. And she looked good, y'all. She was sashaying across the stage. She had
beautiful dress.
Y'all know the Netflix special. Y'all could go back and watch it if it's still up on Netflix. Mm-hmm. But she had a beautiful gown on. She looked really good. Mm-hmm. And you know what? When she first walked out on the stage, people were happy. We all were happy to see her. That part was authentic when she came out on stage. Everybody was excited to see her. They were very, very happy to see her. And she had a diverse group of people in that crowd, excited and eager to have her come out and to support her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But, for the most part, we had a pretty straight face.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We really, the stuff was shocking that she said.
The thing that was shocking was when she was talking about her being fluid. I don't know if she classifies herself as being bisexual or not, but I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
But other than that, it really wasn't a big deal.
I think what really,
at least not to me, because it's like, okay, I believe.
No, we don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, but I guess
is your sexuality.
But I guess that was something like a shock thing she wanted to maybe drop, or maybe she just sharing a piece of who she is about her life. But it was just like, okay.
I think I had a more problem with her joking about special needs.
Oh, because she was talking about she was in a special ed class.
The R word, and we don't use that word. I had a problem with that, with her. I know it was a joke, but still, I think some things are just sensitive subjects and some things are just off limits, and that's what I had a problem with. We know that, she said that she was in a, the special class, and that's okay and fine. But she went into a whole demonstration of how they act with certain disabilities, and they kind of gave me like a that's kind of that's not politically correct, but that was just my opinion.
But then they say, well, what the comics say, people are too sensitive now. You can't joke about this, you can't joke about that. But people are still entitled to be
that's just the way I feel
to be offended. How you feel is how you feel, and it's valid. you know.
And it has something to do with children, and you know, I'm really sensitive when it comes to kids and certain areas with certain kids, and I think special needs kids are off limit, and I that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Kids are off limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TBD said, yikes. Saya B said, but it wasn't even funny in my opinion.
Right.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
wasn't.
To be honest with y'all, her interview on Club Shay was funnier than her actual Netflix special. Like, I laughed during, you know, some of her comments during the Club Shay interview. She was actually funnier during that interview than she was in that stand-up.
That's because she had that brown liquor.
Maybe so.
She had that brown liquor in her.
Maybe so. But that's kind of how I feel with like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart haven't been funny since like 2011, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, whenever he broke up with Tori, that's when he stopped being funny, in my opinion. Like when he was with Tori, his stand-up specials were hilarious.
But Kevin
Hart,
I used to cry. A top-notch comedian.
Not no more. I mean, he might be big in Hollywood, and he may be a gatekeeper now. But like, I would love for. I know people evolve and things change, but he was hilarious when he first came out. I used to cry watching his specials. Now I think Kevin is more funny when he does like interviews or if he goes on live. That's when I find Kevin Hart to be hilarious. But like when he's doing like an actual stand-up, I don't think he's funny anymore. Not like he used to be. He used to have me in tears. But anyway, back to Monique. So she also talked about her upbringing. She talked about her aunt who was a lesbian. She was a masculine woman, and you know, she talked about her uncle. I don't know if he was gay or not, but she talked about him and how he struggled with addiction, and he would get his money stolen all the time in the neighborhood, and people would beat him up. And she talked about her grandmother and how, you know, close she was to her grandmother and stuff. And she talked a little bit. She talked about how she met Sydney and how they struggled in their relationship when they first got together because she was making money, so much money, and she was on the Parkers. She felt, you know, like she was more of the dominant one in the relationship, and he had to like check her, like calm down, you know what I mean? Like she was acting like, you know, I'm bringing home the bacon, it's my way or else, basically.
Right.
And she didn't really talk too much about her kids.
No.
She mainly talked about like how she grew up. She talked a little bit about other relationships outside of Sydney, but other than that, not too much. So, you know, all in all, you know, the Netflix special, it didn't really hit like I thought it was. And I don't know, because maybe we were just so hyped and excited that she was coming back, and she finally got the Netflix special because she had been fighting so hard and so long. I don't know. Maybe our expectations were too high. I don't know. But it was still good to go out to support her. I don't regret going. You know, it was still nice to go out and support her. You know, it really was. And we were happy for her, and still happy that she got it.
And you know, now that I think about it, when we saw T.S. Madison there, now we know why T.S. Madison was there. Because in the Club Shay interview, she said how T.S. Madison went to Lee Daniels
to help repair their relationship.
Right. So that's why, and she actually called T.S. Madison out when, you know, she gave her a shout out at the taping. Yeah. So now we know why her and T.S. Madison are friends and why T.S. Madison was there that night.
Yeah, I think they grew closer when she did that with Lee Daniels, but I think they were starting to get cool when she came on T.S. Madison's show with Kaya. Remember when T.S. Madison and Kaya what was it called? The Queen's Court?
Yeah.
And they used to come
that
on.
That was so funny.
That was like 2017, 2018. They were hilarious.
They was hilarious.
I used to love watching Queen's Court with Kaya
that was
and T.S.
like
Madison.
A big deal for us to watch it.
We used to watch it together. That was like a beaut. Like the way some of y'all say y'all watch, you know, with your daughters or your family, y'all watch us. That's how we used to watch Kaya and T.S. Madison.
They were funny.
They were so funny, y'all. They were so funny. And they would have the docket, and they would talk about celebrity news and
Yeah, they were
gossip,
funny.
and who's a blouse, and who's this, and who's that. And
Yeah.
it was just so funny. And then Chi-Chi would be in the background. That was T.S. Madison's assistant at the time.
Yeah.
Like cracking
Thank
up.
you for the
Yes.
super
Thank you,
chat.
Saul Diva. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. That was just hilarious.
It was hilarious.
That
we
was
really
so hilarious.
enjoyed
And
that.
we was sad when they broke up.
We
y'all.
was.
We
was sad when T.S. Madison and Kaya broke up because we really enjoyed watching it. They were hilarious.
They were hilarious together. And I hate how bad things just went left. It took a turn for a worse.
Yeah.
Because it got really nasty and real disrespectful between them. That was so sad.
It was.
But yeah, y'all. So
that's how they got back. That's how they connected. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. So
yeah.
So let's see. So pinning this thought for later, but how do you think Monique and Sydney both being in slow classes impacts their capacity as parents, considering her son's obvious intelligence and therapy work? Oh, that's a good question.
So Sydney was in slow classes too?
Well, she been knowing him since she was 14.
So y'all think they were in the classes?
It's plausible.
She never said he was in the slow classes with her, or did he?
I mean, it is
Did
plausible.
Yeah, it's plausible.
But anyway, so long story short, y'all, the special wasn't hitting on nothing, and you know it wasn't hitting on nothing.
I like that.
And not everybody, and some of the jokes that she made, you know, because we were actually there, not everybody was laughing at the jokes.
No.
So just keep that in mind.
Oh, she said it.
TBD said no. She said it. Okay.
Okay. That's why I love y'all. Y'all be
Yes.
knowing.
Okay, so we done talking about the special. If y'all have any other questions about the special, you know, let us know. And then the special was what? No, and also y'all, the special, it didn't start on time.
That's another thing.
It took like an hour and 30 minutes to start.
But
That's
Daddy
another
was
thing.
there, and after the special, Daddy came out in the audience together.
They did. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it took like forever for the show to start. But I guess that's show business. I don't know. But yeah. But anyway, okay, so now that we off of that, let's go ahead and talk about the dynamics between Shalon, Uncle / Daddy, and Monique. Okay, so like I said earlier in the video, or in the live, it is disheartening. And I feel like, TBD said Sydney used to protect her from bullies.
Wow.
Okay.
And so that explains a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Why
That
she
does.
feels so indebted to him.
Right.
So you got a couple of things going on. She doesn't really know how to be a mother to Shalon because her mother wasn't a mother to her.
That's a good point.
Yes, she doesn't know how to be a mother to him. And on top of that, she feels like that Sydney was her savior. So whatever Sydney and however Sydney feels, she's going to go with it. And we know Sydney ain't really feeling Shalon. But go on.
Yeah, that's a good point. And just to kind of add to what Fifi is saying, you know, like she said, because Monique didn't really have that close relationship with her mother, you know, she's right. She doesn't really know how to mother Shalon. And another thing that I find really interesting, y'all, is the same way Monique feels like her family betrayed her when they went on the Oprah Winfrey show, she's also betraying Shalon.
That's
and
a good
I'm
point.
and it's interesting that she doesn't realize that. It's interesting that Monique doesn't realize that she's once again perpetuating the generational cycle, the generational curse. And so even though the situations are, you know, slightly different, you know, she's more so going in on his, you know, mental illness, whereas her family, they used her sexual assault against to throw up in her face and weaponize it against her to get their own, you know, platform and, you know, whatever other, you know, things they were trying to gain from going on the Oprah Winfrey show. But she's doing the same thing to her son, essentially, that her parents did to her family did to her.
Yes, for sure. She's definitely doing the same thing. And you know what, though? I don't think she's aware of what she's doing.
I don't think she is either.
When you're in a certain environment, you just think certain things are normal.
So did her parents think what they was doing was normal? Maybe they didn't think what they was doing was wrong when they went on Oprah Winfrey.
They didn't think what they were doing was wrong.
Just like she don't think what her and Uncle Daddy is doing is wrong.
Exactly.
So it's just a cycle repeating itself, and luckily and hopefully with Shalon going to therapy, he'll be that curse breaker
And
for his daughter and any other children that he has.
you all know, as a Gen X, how, and I don't know, I think most of our subscribers are somewhere in the Gen X age, if I remember looking at the analytics. But you all know, as a Gen X, there was just certain things that were not discussed, certain things that just happened, and you just, now that I'm an adult and I look back, and now that I know that certain things now are being like a taboo, and you don't do this and you don't say this, but back then it was okay, and you just thought it was normal. You just thought it was normal, to get cussed out.
Mm-hmm.
You just thought it was normal for you to get a shoe thrown at you, or
What with extension cord,
or with an extension cord. Some things you just thought was normal. So I think Monique just picked up on certain things, the way her parents treated her. She just thought that it was normal. She had no other example on how to be a parent, on how to be a mother. So she just kept it going. And that's why when I started to, when I was raising Samantha, I was aware of the things that growing up that I thought wasn't right. I knew it wasn't right, but it was just the norm thing. So I brought to the forefront that when I raise my child, I'm not going to do the things that my mother and my father did that I didn't think that was right. I broke the curse, but you have to be aware of it. And I don't think Monique is aware of what she's doing. I just think she thinks that it's the normal thing to do. Now, in our interview, she said that when she had him, and when he got older, she told him, she said, look, I'm not in the mindset of being a parent. She said, I'm not in the mindset of raising a child. I just want to be famous. She said that she wanted to be famous. She saw Michael Jackson them and how they was living, and she wanted to be like them. She told her child that I'll give you anything you want. You want a house with a big pool, you got it. But I can't. No, I'm not trying to raise you.
So basically, she was telling him, I don't have the bandwidth to give you that love,
right,
and nurture you and give you that affection and fortify you the way a mother should do his son. And like Shalon said, a mother is the son's first love.
Right.
She helped set the tone for his relationship with women
TBD,
throughout his
that
life.
Is right. Yes.
And then also, I think that I believe it may be Shalon's dad, but and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Shalon's dad was the husband she was referring to that she fought with a lot. They had a tumultuous marriage. They were fighting each other. So if that is the case, and please correct me if I'm wrong, allegedly, I'll say that means he marinated in dysfunction. You know, and based off of
say it again.
He marinated in dysfunction,
and he
was brought into a dysfunction environment.
When we carry our babies, whatever we are experiencing mentally, our babies marinate in that. That's why you have kids that come out with social anxiety and other kind of mental
depression.
Yeah. Because we have to watch how when we carry our babies, we have to make sure that we're in a good mental state. Because however we feel, it affects our babies. So that's exactly what happened. And he talks about how she put him in therapy. She actually he was in therapy,
and he talks about how they went to therapy together. And he said when he went to therapy with Monique, he said, guys, as you know, if you're going to go to therapy, you have to be open and receptive to what the other party is saying and just to the experience all around. And he said that allegedly Monique was not open and receptive when they went to therapy together, and that she went into the sessions on defense. And she wasn't really trying to be open to what he had to say. She was more so defensive, deflecting, and he said his mom was more so married to the identity of always being the victim and not seeing that, just because you may have been a victim in one story doesn't mean you couldn't have been the villain in another. was basically what he was
Ooh,
trying
say
to
it
say.
again.
Like, just because you were a victim in one story doesn't mean you weren't necessarily a villain in another story. And I'm paraphrasing what he was saying, but that's basically what he was saying in a nutshell, just paraphrasing it. So, I think he has a point, a very valid point. And I know that he's made it clear that he's not really looking to have a relationship with his mom. He said that he loves his mom. He is proud of his mom. He said, my mom is a bad woman. She's accomplished so much. She's made history. And I want my daughter to know who she was and who she is, and know that, that's the stock you come from. That's who blood runs through your veins. But he does not want to have a relationship with his mom, and he has that right to. And just because somebody can give birth and have a baby doesn't make them a mother. And basically, that's kind of, from what you said, Fifi, that's basically what Monique was saying to him. And so, with her having such a tumultuous relationship with his dad, with his father, I'm not shocked that, she has a strenuous relationship with him. And then when she had him, she had her own issues that she was going through. And that is something that I can say, now that I'm an adult and I'm very close to my mother, Fifi, I'm also very close to my father. My parents are not married anymore, but I'm very close to them both, right? I was very, very fortunate to have both a mother and a father that wanted me from birth. I was wanted. I wasn't a oops or dang, you pregnant. I was wanted intentionally. And I've had a great upbringing. I've had it better than most. I'll say that. And I thank God. I thank the ancestors. I thank Spirit. I thank everybody for it. I really do. But as I've gotten older, I say that to say that when you grow up, when you get older and you mature, you start to learn to see your parents as human beings. If you're lucky, you're able to see mom as a woman and not just mom, and you're able to, if you're lucky, you're able to sit down and talk. Or even if you don't sit down and talk, if you have the comprehension, if you're able to take a step back and look at that individual and assess them from another point of view.
And she does, y'all. She assesses me all the time.
Like, instead of like assessing them as mom and what mom means, you can assess them as, okay, this is a woman. This is a person who has their own experiences, their own hurts, their own pains.
Yes.
Who is this person outside of them being my mother? This person is more than just my mother. This person is more than just my father. Who are they as a human being outside of just being my mom or my dad? And I think that he is starting to see that with his mom. And the reason I say that Shalon is starting to see that is because of what he said about, my mom. She's a bad woman. She's accomplished this. She's accomplished that. I want my daughter to know who her grandmother is and who she was and who she is. And I think that, some people are saying, why did he come out now and say and talk about their relationship and respond, Because I think that he's finally in a place where he's healed enough to do so. And he can finally take a step back and really look at the bigger picture and accept things for what they are. And he's on his journey to making peace with his mom.
Right.
Like, it is what it is. Right. And so I really don't think he's like bitter towards his mom at all.
Not at all.
I really think he's on the journey of just accepting things for what they are. But just as Monique and Daddy, if you go back and watch the live that they did this week, what was the buzzword they kept saying? Anybody who watched their live that they did this week? Truth. Tell the truth. 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 Tell the truth. Not just your truth. Monique said it. Not just your truth, but tell the truth. And that's what Shalon is doing. He's telling the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's making peace with it as he should, so that he doesn't carry that trauma and pass it on to his daughter the same way his mother carried that trauma and passed it on to him. And that's what he's
trying not to do.
He's trying to break those generational curse. He's trying.
And my thing is, in the interview, when Sydney was talking about Shalon, as a mother, and this is just me, when Samantha had a stepdad, one thing that he knew was not to say anything out of the way about my child. Now, the way you feel about her is okay, but you're not gonna say anything derogatory about my child. Now, I may know it's some things going on, but you surely not gonna say it. And when he was saying to her, well, he's 30 years old and he was calling me, asking me about a car.
Yeah, he said he's 31
well,
or
he's
32.
31. Well, that's what kids do. That's what kids do. You sometimes have to guide them and put them in the right direction. That's what we do as parents. We guide our children. We let them know which way to go. Samantha may call me and say, "Hey, mom, A, B, and C, what I need to do."
And will.
She'll ask me, "Mom, this, Ma, that, what you think?" That's my job as a parent, to make sure that I equip her with the things that she needs to navigate through life.
Guiding. At this stage in my life, she's my advisor. She's done with raising me. Same thing with my dad. They are my advisors. They're not raising me anymore. They're not taking care of me anymore. They're guiding.
Right.
And that's okay for a parent to do at any age.
Right. And I think that for him to put him out there like that and say those things, like he's bothering us. He should know better. He shouldn't be calling us, asking us how to get a car. And they also said, well, I gave him, $5,000. I gave him this amount.
And I gave him, Monique bought all of the baby stuff when 3
years
ago, when the baby was on the way. We bought all this stuff for him, basically throwing it up in his face. And really, they were gaslighting him.
They were gaslit. That's exactly what they were doing. And how dare you let this man sit beside you and do your son like that?
Your firstborn baby.
Your firstborn baby.
That you carried in your womb.
Yes, your child, Monique. How dare you let this man talk about your child like that? How dare you? When he just wants to know that his mom cares about him. Really, he wants her to acknowledge him.
That's all.
That's all, y'all.
He's not looking for them to be buddy, mama. He just wants to be acknowledged. That's pretty much what he's saying.
Be acknowledged because
he's not too pressed at trying to be buddy.
You had 3 sons when you actually have 4. He just want Monique to acknowledge him. He don't want anything else. And I looked at his lives. He put the beautiful granddaughter on there.
She's gorgeous.
How can you not want a relationship with your granddaughter? Beautiful little girl, y'all. His little girl is beautiful. And he's on there, and I think he's trying to prove a point because he's on there interacting with her, letting us know that he's a good dad.
And he's stable enough.
Exactly. Right. And he talks about his girlfriend who supports him. And it was a question somebody asked when he was on his TikTok live. How did you say what you said so calmly? He said, you know what? At first it wasn't calm. He said, I had wrote some things that was aggressive. He said, thanks to my girlfriend who supports me. And we all need to be supported, y'all, right? We all need that one person in our life that supports us.
You need that community, even if it's just one person. You can't do life alone on your own. I wouldn't recommend that for anybody,
right?
Whether it be platonic or romantic, you need support.
So he was saying, I have somebody to support me. And who has my back, and he feels like Monique is not there she's not acknowledging him. She's taking side with daddy, and Monique and daddy feeds off of each other.
They do.
Both of them are messy.
And what he say in the live, she called me daddy, but y'all also don't know I call her mama.
I ain't heard him one time call him mama. We know why she said, he called her mama because she raised him, because she said she called him daddy because he raised her.
That's what she said.
He guided her out of her 15-year-old mentality. That's what she said, right? So come on now. And we all know the story that she told. They were friends. at first. She was dating somebody else. She was out there being loosey goosey.
Yeah, she said she said daddy told her you not a HOE. He said you got friendly PUSSY. That's all.
She said that on the Shay interview,
Yeah.
right? She was out there being loosey goosey. That's her business.
That's her business.
That's her business.
We ain't gonna never talk about no one. That ain't our place. That's her business. Same thing we said last night with Fanny. We don't agree with it, but that's Fanny business.
That's Monique business.
And that's Monique's business.
But all of a sudden, when he see Monique is making a come up, now this is my opinion. He see Monique, they friends, they like brother and sister. She said that. They like brother and sister.
She had never seen him in that light.
That's her homeboy, right? They kicking it. You know, she coming to him, talking to him about her romantic relationships and probably vice versa. All of a sudden, Monique started to make this come up. She started to get on the Parkers and started to do other things. Oh, he see Monique about to come into the money. Monique about to come into the money. And all of a sudden, they give a kiss and then it jump off. They together. Okay, so, and Daddy, what? Anybody know what Daddy job was before him and Monique got together? What did Daddy do? I know they said he went to college with Lee Daniels, but what did Daddy do?
You know, he went to college with, did he go to college with Lee Daniels or was it Will Packer?
Will Packer.
I think they're both Q's.
Yeah, Will Packer.
That's his friend.
So what did Daddy do before he got with Monique? What was his career when he got with Monique? And another thing, here's another thing. A man's man is gonna want to have his own thing going on. He's not gonna don't want to be up under his wife's hotel and having said that he rides off his wife. A man is gonna want to have something else going on. He's a manager. He's managing Monique. Why don't he go manage somebody else besides Monique?
Go ahead.
Why don't he go ahead and manage somebody else besides Monique? You know what I'm saying? A man is going to want to have something more going on outside of his wife. I'm just saying. But all of a sudden, him and Monique become romantically involved. And I think that that happened because he saw that Monique was going to make a come up. And so once he saw that, he was like, oh yeah, so okay, well let's kick it. Let's get married and I'll be your manager. Well, Monique not really having anybody to love her the way she wanted to be loved. And I'm sure Sydney said some things that Monique wanted to hear. And that was it. He knew how to play on Monique because he knew Monique history. He had known her since she was 14. Mm-hmm. And he knew that all Monique wanted was to be loved.
And supported.
Because
she really
like her child.
Yeah. I don't think she really felt that support from anybody except what her grandmother and maybe her aunt. Yeah.
Right. Her grandma.
Yeah, TBD said, did he graduate from the same school as Will Packer? Yeah, they went to college together.
Yeah.
I think, I get it mixed up. Okay, I know he is in the same fraternity as Will Packer, but I think he went to school with, it's another producer. The guy who did This Christmas. It was the guy who, Will Packer was the director, but it was another guy that was a producer on This Christmas, that movie that Monique did. I can't remember what his name is, but he went to school with that guy, not Will Packer, excuse me. But yeah. I can't remember his name. I can't remember. It's skipping me, but
so
whatever.
So Sydney played off of all of that. Once again, Monique was looking for the same thing that her son is looking for from her now, but she can't relate though. She doesn't see
her in him.
Say it again.
She don't see herself in Shalon.
And our children are what?
A reflection of us. Yes.
Our children are a reflect, whether we want to admit it or not, y'all.
They're mirrors.
They're mirrors. When you see your child, you see yourself. Our children are a reflection of us, whether it's good or bad. I'm just saying. And that this is the situation with Monique and her son. This is the situation with Monique and her son. Okay? Now, does Monique want to rectify that? Does she want to correct that?
I think she's open to it. This is just what I'm thinking. I don't know for sure, but I'm alleging. I think she would be open to it, but it would have to be on her terms.
Her and Daddy's terms.
Her and Dad, thank you, Fifi. It would have to be on her and Daddy's terms. He would have to come to them and, kind of bow down and apologize and play it on their terms. Now, another thing that was really interesting on their live that they did, y'all, was how Monique was, Daddy, because Daddy did most of the talking. He did all of the talking, basically. Daddy talked about how Shalon needed to work on his communication skills. Basically, I guess he was implying that a situation maybe had occurred where he needed to work on how he interacted with the women in his life. So, i.e. his mom, his sister, his cousins, his tone and how to address women. So basically, to me, it came off like Daddy was implying that maybe Shalon had some issues in the past with communicating with Monique. Maybe he wasn't being as respectful as he should have.
But and he talked about that in his life. He talked about how he had some issues, and he said he went to therapy.
He took accountability for it.
He took accountability
and he went to therapy for it. And another thing, when he was throwing it up in his face that they gave him money for his newborn baby, and how he was calling him to ask about how to get a car, and he had to walk him through how to purchase his car from a whole nother state, even though he was 30, 32 and shit. Basically saying like you need to have your ish together as a man, but you living off your wife. So people could say the same things about you, not having your ish together as a man.
Like DL Hughley said.
Monique is the breadwinner. And in order to not make you feel emasculated and less than, what did she do? She changed her tone and the way she spoke to you, and she made you her manager. So in a way, you need mommy's help too. You need mommy and daddy's help. You say you call her your mama. You need mama help too. The same way Shalon needed his mama help. Y'all both need mama help. Y'all clashing to see who gonna be mama favorite. Who gonna get mama's undivided attention. Yep. So, you have more in common with that young man than you realize.
If you break it down.
Do he have his own production company or own business outside of Monique? So, just be nice. Be nice. And he's younger than you, and you are a well-seasoned man. You should have been able to parlay a little side business. One thing I can say about Triple OG Nesto, side note, he was taking Shirley money and parlaying it into businesses. Now, the businesses may have allegedly been shady and may not have gone nowhere, but at least Triple OG, Double OG, Ernesto tried to parlay it into something for him. At least he tried. So I'm like, Daddy, you could have been doing the same. You've been with Monique for what, 25, 30 years? You could have,
definitely have his own production company.
Daddy's Chains of Chick-fil-A or a Daddy's Chain of Captain Crunch cereal. I don't know. But you've been with her for this long, you could have parlayed it into a little business, something for you. So I'm just saying, get a young man grace. He's much younger than you, still trying to find his way. He's a millennial, and it's people who aren't millennials who are still trying to find their way and trying to figure things out and who don't know, everything. And you shouldn't shun somebody for that.
Yeah, I thought that was very...
Why throw that up in his face? He's a young man. You two always talk about, black community and the black man and the black woman. We got to protect each other. We got to be there for each other. But y'all could have really parlayed this incident into a way of calling for healing amongst, mother and son, you know, rather than throwing it up in his face, his mental illness, and him having to call you to ask you for help. But instead, y'all thought to focus maybe 5-10 minutes on him, and then go back at Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry and Stephen A. Smith and Judge Mathis. And I feel like that was a missed opportunity.
It was.
You talking about the black community and not being ashamed of your story, and not being ashamed of what you went through. Y'all have already talked about that. You should have let Monique talk. She should have did the talking.
But the reason why Sydney
And y'all
does that,
and y'all could have parlayed it to you know what? Let's go on Iyanla or something. If you really wanted to parlay it into something, if obviously you want to make sure you speak up for yourself, right, and you respond to people, and you care about the community, and you love us for real, and that's cute and all, but you could have spent more time talking about mother-son dynamics and what you went through with.
Yeah, but the reason why Sydney does that is because Monique hasn't set any boundaries when it comes to him and her child. And y'all, we are a children's advocate. I say that all the time. Even now with Samantha being an adult, I will still, I know she's grown, but it's just that mother thing, that parent thing. Even with her being an adult, I'm still in that, that protect my child mode, no matter what. And I think that Sydney feels that he can say those things about her son because the way she feels about him, and they haven't set any boundaries. There hasn't been any boundaries set about the way he interacts with her, with her son. The son didn't want to hear from Sydney. He wanted to hear from his mother.
Right.
He did that live for his mother, not for Sydney. He wants to hear from his mother. He said that his mother didn't raise him. His cousin played the role. Monique's cousin played the role of his mother.
Yeah, I think she also allegedly moonlighted as her assistant.
Yeah. That's who raised him. And you all, to hear that young man speak, he's very intelligent. Whoever raised him did a good job.
And very articulate.
Very manable in his lives. Whoever raised him did a damn good job. I don't know where Monique was or what she was doing, but whoever raised that young man did a good job. And Monique should be proud. She should be proud to want to spend time with her son and her grandchild. And from my experience, it's the very child that you feel like that
is your ops.
It's the very one when you get old that might have to take care of you. Okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying sometimes things work out to be strange like that. I'm just saying, y'all. So for her to treat him like that was so disheartening. For me to see that and to listen to him, and the reason why everybody was saying, well, why is he writing down what he say? Because he said that's the way he learned to do it in therapy.
Yeah, so he can manage his emotions. You done put the boy out there as being, having an illness, basically stigmatizing him. And y'all know how
that is in our community. Talk about it.
Y'all know how it is in our community. The whole mental illness topic. We all got people in our family. We say, oh, that person crazy, that person that. And for real, they probably were schizophrenic. They probably had bipolar. Anxiety, depression. But, some of us we weren't educated enough to actually to acknowledge it and call it out for what it was, or we may not, they may not have had the resources to get professionally diagnosed, or they were afraid to go get help because of what people would say about them. So for them to throw it up in his face, that was really disheartening. The same way Monique doesn't like when Stephen A. Smith or the Judge Mathis or the Tyler Perrys or the Oprah Winfrey try to shut her down and write her off as being dramatic and bitter. How do you think your sons feel? Y'all trying to write him off and say, oh, he has mental health issues. Basically, like Daddy said in the live, believe half of what you hear and none of what you believe. Don't believe anything you hear and believe half of what you see. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But, the same way you felt, you know, offended by people trying to write you off as being better. Basically, like, sit out in the corner. You're a big fat black woman. Nobody cares what you have to say. Y'all low key doing the same to him by saying, "Oh, you're mentally unstable, so go on somewhere."
Yeah, what you're saying is not
This is
valid.
somebody that's not stable, y'all.
Yeah, he's not stable.
That's what they're trying.
Right.
That's basically what
they
they're
were saying.
implying.
Yes. And even in his lives, that's what in his lives people were saying, there's nothing wrong with you. And we're glad you're going to therapy. And y'all, all of us at some point need to go to therapy, whether we want to admit it.
Every one of us.
Whether we want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
We need to, it's nothing wrong with going to therapy, okay?
Yeah, Cass S. He said, believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically trying to discredit the young man. Like, basically, there's not really any validity to what he's saying. But y'all get mad when people say the same thing about Monique. And it didn't even feel like they were addressing their child or their stepchild. It felt like they was just addressing another ops.
And then,
like, they just checking off the list of ops. Like, who else wanted? Who else going against us?
And then,
hey, Emma, we're talking about Monique and her son, Shalon Jackson.
Mm-hmm. And then let's go to the money part. So he talked about in his live how Monique had did a trust fund for him, and I think it was about 50,000 or somewhere up there. And he said when he got a certain age, he called Monique and he said, "Hey, Mom, where's that money I got?" And Monique said, "Shalon, I don't know what you're talking about." But he said eventually he got with a family member and he was able to get the money. But he said not having any guidance, not knowing how to manage money, nobody never telling him how to manage money or what to do with money. He said he blew it. He said he blew all the money. And he said, and Monique was upset with him. And he felt like, well, I never knew how to manage money. I never knew, I was given everything that I wanted as a child. He said, but you never showed me how to manage money. So how are you faulting me for that? And then he talks about, I want to go back to therapy, but I just need to make sure that I can afford it. Well, y'all, his TikTok, when he first did his TikTok, I think he had 2,500 subscribers on his TikTok.
TBD said he was homeless.
Yes, he was homeless. Yes. And now he has over 29,000 or 30,000. So what the devil meant for bad, God meant for good.
Say that again.
For what the devil, and we have to notice in our situation, sometimes what the devil means for bad, God means for good. So now this young man TikTok followers are up. And when I tell you, when he go on live, he gets all kind of the top gifts. So he's over there on TikTok making money, okay? He over there making some money to take care of him and his family. He's over there making money. And people make good money on TikTok, y'all. It's money made on TikTok. Yeah. So I hope that, he gets what he needs so he can go back to therapy. Because he said, I want to go back to therapy. He said, when I was in Atlanta, my mom had me going to therapy and I had a good therapist.
Yeah, they went to therapy together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're sitting saying that he has mental issues, but he wants help for his mental issues.
And hell, who's to say that they don't their damn self?
Well, they think they stable and in sound mind. They Sydney and Monique think they stable, trying to turn on the Instagram and turn it off. That's what get me. How you gonna sit and talk shit about people, and then when you finish talking shit, you can't even turn the doggone recording off? What kind of foolishness is that?
They should have called Shalon.
They should have called Shalon.
A millennial to help them.
Right. He don't have no problem getting on and off his TikTok live, okay? Okay? It's a mess, y'all. It was just...
It's the audacity.
It's the audacity. But that's her man. And y'all, you could just tell when she on the live, she just oozes him. Oh, he's just her everything. And y'all, as a woman, and it's between me, woman to woman, y'all never put y'all all in a man. Never lose yourself over a man.
Speaking from
Never,
experience.
speaking from experience, never disconnect. Monique has disconnected from herself for Sydney. Okay? She has totally disconnected. The way she talks about him and the way she looks at him, it's like she can't function. She can't move without daddy.
It's codependency.
Say it again.
Codependency. Yeah.
Yes.
And she's been through a lot too, and I'm sure he has too. And I just think, the same way Monique and Sydney, they want people to give them grace and listen to them and understand their point of view. I think they should do the same for him. Give him a little bit more grace.
Him some grace.
Yeah, and Sydney was, back to the point of Sydney basically implying that, maybe Shalon had been disrespectful towards his mom and other, women in his family are around him. Okay, if that's the case, he needs to get checked for that. Absolutely, he needs to be held accountable. But the apple deeper. The apple don't fall far from the tree. What did Monique do at the last stand-up she did? She told allegedly Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry to suck her what? So when she mad, she does what? She lashes out.
And the reason he's probably lashing out at women is because he see his mom in women. There's a connection. He has an issue with women because he has an issue with his mom. Y'all, it's deep. The thing goes deeper than what we can see on the surface. And I'm sure all of that has come out in therapy. It's our usually when we have things going on with us emotionally, it has a lot to do with our DNA, our pathology. It has a lot to do with our DNA and our pathology. And when you go to counseling, you all of that comes out because you go deep. The relationships you have with your mother, the relationships you have with your father, the relationships you have with your siblings. All of that comes out in therapy, and I'm sure that has came out in therapy. So the way he interacts with women, but when he's on his live talking to his girlfriend, he's just as gentle. I don't know if it's a facade, but he's just as gentle.
Go ahead.
And calm. And she's interacting with him gently and calm. So I don't know what happened or he's worked through all the issues interacting with women. Go ahead.
Yeah, but to add to that, he did another a recent live on TikTok where people were basically trying to come for his manhood and basically say men don't get on live and talk about their mommy and daddy issues and woe is me. That's not what men do. And Shalon said, you don't get to tell me how to practice my manhood. Basically how I show up in the world as a man is my business, not yours. And he said, how I feed and take care of my family.
Y'all tap, like, and subscribe.
That's not on your plate. That has nothing to do with you, basically. Like, you don't tell me how I should be a man or what a man should be. I define that for myself, basically. And I thought that was really powerful because once again, in our community, we say that, I'm healed, or we need to protect each other. But then you want to challenge this man's manhood for speaking his truth and being vulnerable. What do you want? We always talk about toxic masculinity and men not being able to articulate themselves. And the only time men are able to show emotion is through anger or aggression. And here this man is expressing himself. And he's trying to operate at a higher level. What Shalon is doing, y'all, is he's practicing emotional intelligence and using his words to articulate himself and his feelings and his thoughts. He's trying to go above just using anger. And some people are criticizing him for that. But it's like, on one hand, you judging men because you're saying they're angry, but then this brother is trying to tap into his emotions to heal, and you want to penalize him for that.
Yes.
And I feel like, and maybe it is also a part of it being a generational thing. Shalon and I are around the same age. We're basically around the same age. He's a millennial, and then Monique is what, a year younger than my mom, Fifi. She's a Gen X, her and Sydney. So maybe that generational gap also plays a role into it. But I just want Monique to see herself in her son, because they have more in common than she realizes.
And let's talk about emotional intelligence.
The same way I bet you my last dollar, some of the emotions that Shalon feels towards Monique is probably some of the very emotions Monique felt towards her mother.
And let's talk about that. Let's unwrap that. Let's talk about emotional intelligence with my generation, Gen X. There was no such thing. Growing up, you did what your parents said. And we talked about this as far as boundaries. We did a podcast with two wonderful women. You all go back and watch that podcast where we talked about boundaries.
It was called Women Connecting in Wisdom. We did a podcast. Yeah, so check it out on our YouTube.
How things
and our
how
Facebook page.
How I was raised growing up, and how what I was taught and how my mom interacted with me. I thought that it was okay to interact with Samantha that way. But it's a different time, and this generation responds differently. And now we have the tools and the resources to know when something is not right or not beneficial for this generation emotionally. So I knew nothing about boundaries. My mom, boundaries? You do what I say. There is no boundaries. You do what I say, and that's that. But as Samantha got older, I had to learn about boundaries. And not only that, I had to learn to be emotionally intelligent when interacting with her. And Monique doesn't know anything about being emotionally intelligent. She has no clue about how to be emotionally intelligent with her child, because if she did, she would have never came on that live with daddy sitting beside her, triggering him. If you know your child has mental issues, why trigger him? Yeah. Why would you do that?
The same way you don't want nobody triggering you.
Yes, that was a trigger for him.
And people are like, and again, back to my point with people saying, well, why did he come out and say anything? Y'all, anytime somebody say something negative about Monique, what's she doing? Her and daddy fiddling with that IG to go live to address them.
Okay. Yes.
So why wouldn't Shalon do the same? The apple don't fall far from the tree. But
right.
Let's see. TBD said, I had a high pressure job that tested your emotional intelligence. And if you scored low, you lost your job on the spot. Oh, wow.
Yes. And it, that happens a lot, because our generation, emotionally intelligence, come on now. There was no such thing. I didn't hear about that until maybe in the last 10 or 15 years, emotionally intelligence. So Monique doesn't know anything, about that or boundaries. She's handling Shalom the way her parents handled her.
Or the best way, or the best way she can. I think that she's trying to do it a step better by being there for him financially.
Yes.
I think that's her way of doing better than what her parents did with her. So I would say that she's handling him the best way she knows how, in the capacity in which she knows how. But yes. I don't.
Hi from Maryland.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that this experience with her son is holding up a mirror to her. And I think that if she were to get back into therapy, this would be a great opportunity for her soul to evolve and for her to really grow overall as a woman.
And I think
she needs. That's the issue. Sorry to cut you off, Fifi, but she doesn't see herself in her son. That's the problem. I think if she would come off of the defense and look at her son, and see how they're more alike than they are not.
Because your children are a reflection of you. They mirror you.
Yeah, I think they can make some progress.
Whether you want to admit it or not.
Yeah, and she's his mother. She still has that power, that influence to be the bigger person and take him under her wing.
Yes. Yes.
She still has that power. I don't think all hope is lost. I just think she needs to meet him at his level, or at least make the effort, show him. Even if she can't do it this year or next year, just make the effort and try.
Away from social media.
Yeah, away from social media. You know, I think I think she thinks she's doing the best that she can.
And then she goes on to post text messages to prove a point. After this,
like he's her ops. Like,
yeah, like
she's always,
ops.
Fighting. Like, oh, you coming for me? Oh, boom,
it's
boom,
tit
boom, boom.
for tat.
Right.
This is your child. This is not your ops. I would never go back and forth with my child. I would never do that. It's that mental capacity and being in that mind frame. You are a mother. As a mother, when we deal with our children, it's on a different. It's different from dealing with everybody else. When I look at my child and I deal with her, it's different from anybody else. It's nobody out there that's the same when I deal with my child. It's different. And for her to go out there and post the text messages,
she's treating him the same way as everybody else.
She's treating him the same way as everybody else. She's treating him the same way. And that was awful. It was no need for her to post. We didn't need to see that. We didn't need to see that. Her son needs her. Her son wants to know, just like she got her daddy protecting her. Her son wants to be protected and acknowledged, just like she's acknowledged and protected by daddy. Why can't she see that? I don't understand. Why is she so he didn't ask to be here. He didn't ask to be here. Why are you so upset with this young man? For what? Some kids have done worse. I don't care what my child does. I'm never going to turn my back on her as a mother. Out of love. Now, am I going to give her some correction? Yes. But turn my back on her? No. And that's just me as a mother. And every mother doesn't have that. Every mother
doesn't have the propensity to do that. And that's just true tea.
Say it again.
That's just true tea. Let's see. TBD had a good question. She said, Fifi, what would you say alerted your awareness and made you determined to raise your child different to your experience as a Gen Xer?
I think what alerted me is boundaries. Samantha was big on boundaries. She would tell me, Samantha and I have always had a relationship. When she was growing up, she was very expressive. She great communicator. What you see now is what little Samantha was. Talkative. I always had her opinion. So I let her be who she was, as long as she was not disrespectful and she didn't disrespect anybody. I always listened to her. And I think as she got older, sometime, it got to the point where she was more direct. And, I would give her some pushback because she was older and she was more direct. Until one day she said, Mom, we have to have boundaries. And I said, boundaries? I said, I'm your mother. I don't care how old you get. You're going to do what I say. She said, Mom, I'm telling you, this is what I need. And I remember, my mom talking to me and saying, I'm your mother. You do what I say. I'm your mother. Even as I got older, my mom, I was in my 40s and 50s. And if I said something back to my mom, she would say, I'm your mother and you do what I say. And I would say, yes, ma'am. But when I would do that to Samantha, she would say, you're not listening to me. You're not making my feelings valid. And that kind of a light bulb went out. And I said, that's the way I felt with my mother. So it's only fair for me to listen to her because I felt the same way. And so we talked about it. And so she helped me as a 50-plus-year-old woman to learn about boundaries. So that's why my experience raising Samantha was different, because I felt her when she told me, it triggered me because I felt the same way with my mother, but I didn't know I could set boundaries with my mother. I thought that if I set boundaries with my mother, it would be disrespectful. You don't disrespect, mom, you don't disrespect your mother. You honor thy mother and thy father. But you can also do that in a respectful way, right? And that's what Samantha did. So, y'all, in my late 50s and before my mother left this earth, I learned to set boundaries with my mother because of Samantha. And so that's why the experience was different, because I listened to her and my mother didn't listen to me. So that's what it was. I listened to her because I felt like that it would affect our relationship, and anything that I could do for something not to affect the relationship that I have with my child, I'm gonna try to see if I can work it out. If we can come to agreement, and we did, and it wasn't anything major. It was it was something where, Mom, you move my stuff out of the way, put my stuff back. It was something like that, but it meant a lot to her. It was little to me. Oh, girl, just go in there and move it back. You'll be all right. She said, no, Mom, no. She said, no, Mom, you can't do that. That's my stuff. Go put it back. I said, girl, I ain't putting that back. You go in there and put it back. And so we struggle. I know y'all see us on this live, and y'all think, we get this mother and daughter, and we do. But me and Samantha had a big issue with boundaries at my age, in my 50s, and her in her 30s. And the reason why we had it is because I had no knowledge of boundaries. I didn't know I could set boundaries with my mother. But Samantha taught me that I could. And I did. I did.
Let's see. TBD said, gotcha. She said, yes, Fifi, you were open to it.
Yes.
Cass said, we were brought up to be seen and not heard. And unfortunately, it hurt us. Glad you were able to break that cycle.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
TBD said, so it's listening and honoring her person and your person, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Let's see. She said,
well said.
TBD said, thank you, Fifi. This was good.
Yes. Yes.
Sophia said, you guys are like the dream mother-daughter relationship. Oh.
We have our, we have.
It ain't perfect now.
It ain't perfect. Don't get it wrong.
We're not gonna come on Beyonce internet and be like, we're perfect. We always get along.
No,
but we love each other.
We love each other
unconditionally. We ride for each other.
Yes.
When you see her, you see me. And when you see me, you see her.
Pretty much. And I tell people all the time, and there was I think when Samantha was younger, and like I said, y'all, I have some funny stories on the Mother Day videos. Go back and watch the videos, when Samantha was in pre-K, and the pre-K teacher called me and said Samantha was dancing on top of the table. Y'all, I almost lost it.
I was down at the kindercare dancing on the table.
I almost lost it.
I was maybe,
I think
4, 5.
I almost lost it. So I tell stories like that about, some things. And then, when Samantha was, 12, going into preteen, we struggled with some things then too. But
I dealt with sadness and depression.
Yeah, and anxiety. Yeah. Yeah. So,
does that mean I'm not functional?
Exactly.
I'm very intelligent. I have emotional intelligence. So that means if I speak something, there's no validity to what I say. Like, come on now.
And I would never do that.
Right.
I listen to her. When she tells me something, I listen to her. And we talk it out. And I think that's the main thing with Monique and Shalon. She's not listening to him. She's not as an adult. I know when our kids get grown, we feel like, we're done. But we need to listen. We need to listen to them.
She's too busy fighting him to listen.
Yeah, she's too busy fighting him.
She sees him as her ops. He's like in the same boat as Oprah, Lee Daniels.
Exactly.
Et cetera, DL Hughes. Anybody that goes against her or that disagrees with her and daddy, it's like, you're the ops.
Simply Morgan.
You're the ops. You know? Hi, Simply Morgan's. Hey, your TBD said she not. Yeah, she's not listening to him.
She's not
She
listening to
sees
him.
Shalon as the ops.
And she owes him
And that's
that
the
much.
problem.
She owes him that much, y'all. She really does.
She really does.
But we enjoyed you all. We ain't gonna keep y'all on a Saturday night. We
No.
appreciate you all. Like I said, go over and subscribe to our social media pages. Please like and subscribe and share and tell a good girlfriend, tell a good friend about our channel. We appreciate you guys.
Yes.
Our platform has really grown.
We're grateful.
And we're so grateful.
It's
we
fun.
hope to
We
be
enjoy
on
it.
one day, be on podcasts, talking about daughter and mother relationships and how we worked on our relationship and as in interviews,
tours. Let's put it out into the universe.
Yep. And and
our God is awesome and limitless.
Yes. So you all keep pushing us out there, so we can get more subscribers and more views, and we'll come back with different topics on different type of whatever you all want to talk about. Go out and watch our videos. I think Cash, you talked about a video that you wanted us to go back and talk about, but we're gonna keep talking about lessons in love. We're gonna talk about
Triple OG, Nesto, Big Dog.
Yes, we're gonna keep talking about that because y'all know them videos gonna keep coming. They're gonna keep coming. Let me see. Thank you. Please drop it. It's the Sammy Nicole and okay, we'll
put it in the community page, TBD. No problem. Let's see. Cass said I need to be on the couch next. Yeah. We all need to be on the couch. That's what I'm like. Why y'all weaponizing mental illness? We all need to be on the couch.
And why do we think in our community we don't need a good therapist?
I have a therapist.
I've been to therapy.
And I still got one. And
yes, y'all. After my divorce, I did 2 years of therapy. I'm telling you, it works, y'all. It helps. It helps because you have somebody that's not biased and they listen to you, and it feels so good for you to get everything out, and then they break it down. I'm the type of person, I want to know why this, why that, why this. And when I went to therapy, it was just broke down to me why everything kept happening the way it was in my life. Now, I know, old school say take it to the Lord and pray about it. And I did.
And that's big in our community.
And that's big in our community. But God gives us the resources, right? Mm-hmm. And he wants us to use those resources. And therapy is a resource to use.
And he gives people the gift of being able to be a good therapist.
Yes.
To help and counsel other people and be a listening ear. That's a gift.
Yes.
And God bestows that gift on people.
Yes. Yes. So I don't know why that's so taboo in our community, but
hopefully it'll get better.
Hopefully it'll get better.
We go through so much.
Yes.
We really do.
Yes.
And we all have gone through traumatic things as individuals, as a collective, and we really got stop destigmatize. You have to destigmatize therapy and mental health.
Yeah. So
we really do, so that people can feel comfortable getting the help they need. And I really commend Shalon. I'm not saying he perfect. Nobody is perfect, but that takes a lot of guts to be vulnerable like that.
Mm-hmm.
It does, especially to have your mom and your stepdad come back at you like you they ops.
Yes.
It's like that's got to be hurtful, and to do it publicly. His message was more so focused on mom, but in your response, you let your husband do majority of the talking.
Yeah. But somebody said because they normally only listen, but that's not true. They give advice too. My therapist gave advice. Mm-hmm. My therapist she broke it down to me.
Mine give advice. Maybe it's the person that you have. You may need to get a new therapist. Not all therapists, it's not a one size fits all. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
So you may want to consider that. Mm-hmm.
But that's it, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and let you all go. We appreciate you all. Thanks to our mods that's in here. We appreciate you all for keeping it all together. And also we're working on the channel to make it where you all can come up and we can chat. You can come in live. Mm-hmm. So be patient with us. We just grown so much in the last month or so that we're still trying to get everything worked out, and we appreciate
And
all
we
your
are.
we appreciate your suggestions, your insight. This is a platform that's safe where you can give your opinion. We don't have to agree.
Just keep it respectful.
I appreciate all the different perspectives and the insights, and you all are so smart and so knowledgeable. And so we can interact and we can share and we can feed off of each other, and we just have a good time when we come on here. I'd be glad to see you all and talk to you all. And we'll be back our regular nights, Thursday and Saturday of next week.
We usually go live Thursdays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please make sure turn on your notification. Hit the notification bell next to our channel, that icon when you go on our channel, so that you can be notified every time we go live. But usually look for us on Thursdays and Saturdays. And sometimes we try to go live. We did extra lives this week, especially when the tea is hot. So,
Yes.
y'all just be on the lookout. Please follow our Facebook page, Sammy Nicole and Fifi. Follow us on Instagram, the Sammy Nicole and Fifi Show, and interact with us. And so, yeah, y'all. And then we enjoy you guys. It's fun. We appreciate you guys supporting us. Like Fifi said, my mother, my beautiful mother, you all could be anywhere in the world right now, but y'all decided to kick it with us and sit at the kitchen table with us. So, yes, Cass, as Friday is bond day.
Friday, so we definitely going
So we
live.
probably need to go live on Friday.
We
So
probably need to go live on Friday.
so like I just said, y'all, sometimes we would do additional lives if the tea is hot. So yeah, but we'll do when we do our extra lives, we'll do a better job with like posting in the community tab so people know what's going on, and we'll put our contact information down in the community tab, so if people want to reach out and connect, they'll know how to do so. So on that note, I hope you guys have a great night, a great long weekend if you are off for Monday for President's Day. And I'm Sammy Nicole. It's my beautiful mother, Fifi, mama, whatever I want to call in the video. And we are the Sammy Nicole and Fifi Show, a dynamic mother-daughter duo, the only mother-daughter duo here on YouTube. And we appreciate you guys for supporting us. Have a great night. Take care. Bye.